How much do you know about your spirit? Do you know what type of spirit you are? The moment that we start to have more understanding, put language, and start to recognize what type of spirit we are, this is a portal to not only self-discovery, understanding, but helping to develop and feed and nurture a relationship with your spirit. Your intuition is the voice of your spirit. And just like any relationship, the more that we attend and water it, the more that it grows, allowing us to get guidance, be guidable, and more so even give ourselves more permission, grace, and love in our lives. So this week, I'm going to share with you the 4 different spirit types, how to know which one you are, how to use your energy, and how to really use this powerful tool for self-transformation. Today, we are doing a deep dive into discovering, recognizing, honoring your unique spirit type. If you think about it, the way that I like to think about it is that we have the sun. Think of that as divine source energy. That's beaming its little rays down to earth. Now imagine a field with a million all that grass with morning dew on it. There's just millions of tiny dewdrops. Each of those individual little dewdrops I think of as people. And that sun that's reflected in each dewdrop is our divine source energy. Each dewdrop is different and distinct, having different shapes, qualities, and just like you came in as a manifestation of the divine, and your spirit has a certain energy and quality. It is unique. But at the same time, when we can start to understand what kind of energy that we have predominantly and what kind of spirit type we have, with this understanding, this helps us first have a lot more understanding of how it is the way that we are. It's kind of like a permission slip. It's kind of like you don't need an apple to be an orange. You allow an orange to be an orange. Same thing. We also, in understanding our own spirit type, then we can start to look at other people through the lens of spirit. So instead of just seeing their shortcomings or setting unrealistic expectation for just somebody's own spirit and nature, we can start to create a lot more compassion, connection, trust, availability, and also use different tools and resources that don't leave us feeling like we're banging our head against the wall. And when we start to really shift and really to start this practice of noticing our own spirit type, others, this is where we start to really shift into being the observer. The more that we can observe different energies, the more that we can observe our own energy, the more that we heighten our intuitive sensibilities, the more that we have more compassion, understanding, grace, and plus it's super fun. So before I go any further, hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a 4th generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine self, your intuition. If you're new here, hi, welcome. If you're returning back, I'm so happy to have you. Definitely check out the description box below. Check out my podcast, my different resources. I've got tons of stuff for you. And let's cut to it. Spirit types. So there are 4 primary spirit types. There are earth spirits. Earth spirits, think of it as like a rock that doesn't roll. They're very grounded. They are often not ones that are quick to action. They love things. They love their material, comfortable things. They're always creating comfort. Often earth spirits are very responsible. They take their time. There's a certain patience to it. So if you think about your earth spirit, think about people in your life who are really connected to not only earth, but just there's a certain slowness, methodical, hardworking, but a certain energy of slowness. Just like when you connect to the earth energy. Earth's energy takes a lot of time. We don't plant flowers and have them blossom the next day. Same thing with earth spirits. Then we also have air spirits. Air spirits is really rules or communication. So if you think about air, it's all around us. Air spirits, if you think about that energy, it is quick, it is curious, it's all over the place. It's constantly, they love to have a giant stack of books. If you call it earth spirit and say, oh, I'm having a trouble, they're going to say, let me bring you over a casserole. Let me bring you some cookies. And air spirit will say, here is a giant stack of self-help books, and these are the different things that you need to do, and here's this podcast, and this is what I'm listening to, and right? Air spirits have a very different energy than earth spirits. Third, we have our fire spirits. Fire spirits, just like fire dances, fire energy activates things. It's imagination. It pushes against things. It is colorful and creative and, loud. When I think of a fire spirit, I think of somebody who is in like their Lululemon pants and like Lycra because they're always on the move. A fire spirit is somebody who will wake up in the morning and then immediately like get out of bed and go start their day. Fire spirits are always in that place of dancing because that is dancing with fire. Now, last we can think of water spirits. Now, water spirits are sensitive. Water rules emotions. These are our sensitive, deep feelers. You call a fire spirit and say, I'm having an issue. They're going to say, let's go for a run. Let's go for a walk. Let's move this energy. We're over. We're not going to ruminate. Come on. All right, activating the energy. Water spirits will come over. They'll start to cry on the phone with you. Oh my God. Start to give you a tissue. They'll just feel so much in the world. And oftentimes, also with with earth spirits and water spirits, a lot of times sometimes they're not that verbal, especially if you get overwhelmed. They're more quiet. Fire and air will have no trouble communicating. So take a moment right now. Even bringing your awareness in, where you put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, take a breath, close your eyes, and just first start to be curious. What kind of energy does my spirit have? Out of these four, now we all have parts of elements, but usually we have one predominant nature. So for myself, I am a water spirit. I am somebody who's very sensitive, who is very emotional. I can cry at a Hallmark commercial, who is very deep feeling. And often, for myself with that same intuitive sensibility as a water spirit, which also just means like I need a lot of time alone. My mom, on the other hand, Sonia Tully, is a fire spirit. She is always on the move. She opens her eyes and is on the run, doing things, crossing things off her list, just at a very different pace. Now, if I think about my sister, Sabrina, she's a lot more of an earth spirit. She's someone who's very grounded. She's practical. She's methodical. If the times that I've come to her and have been in just heartbreak or heartache, she will always cook and nurture me, tuck me into bed, make sure that I have had an avocado. But, and then we can think about our air spirits. I think about one of my really beautiful friends, Sky, who I absolutely love. And she is the epitome of an air spirit. She is so good at communicating, having all these different ideas of curiosity, and sometimes even just like flitters about, just almost like a little fairy in the air. So what kind of energy do you have? What is something that pulls at your attention? And start to give voice to it. Start to name it. My energy is very creative. My energy is very sensitive. My energy is very whatever it is, fill in the blank. The powerful thing about when we start to notice, bring our attention, and really name it, you can even do it out loud, which is even more powerful, is we start to shift our attention from the physical realm of appearance to spirit. I'm not my job. I'm not my personality. I'm not all of these different things. I'm spirit incarnate in a body, right? So even just starting this practice starts to raise our vibration, shift our awareness, shift our perspective. So like I said, what kind of spirit type do you have? Also look at, usually what your predominant way of being. If you're stuck against an issue, do you end up wanting to clean the house? Very earth spirit. It's very grounding. Think about like the qualities, the nature. If you come up against a problem, do you want to talk about it, think out loud, bring a bunch of different books, do all the different things? Air spirit. You get real sensitive, journal, close yourself in your room, play music? Water spirit. Do you end up taking action, trying to take charge, go for a run around the block, do all the different things? Fire spirit. So in first noticing these different energies, give voice to them, and start to first see yourself as spirit, and then even more fun, start to see the people around you. What is their spirit type? What's their predominant energy? And if you're curious about what kind of spirit you have, I have a spirit type quiz that you can also find in that little information box below. So once we know what kind of spirit we have, we can start to really pay attention to how it feels, its vibration. And Then third, we can start to see what feeds my spirit. What are the things that help to strengthen and fortify this bond? For me, as a water spirit, I need time alone. Water spirits especially need time alone to process, integrate, process their emotions, get out of psychic space. Fire spirits really need energy to activate. You need to move. You need to move that energy so that you don't end up lighting yourself or other people on fire. If you're an air spirit, you need to journal. You need to verbalize. You need to communicate. You need to start to really give voice to what gets stuck. Earth spirits, they need to investigate. They need to dig deep and really get clear on what the problem is, what's going on, have that place. And also with earth spirits, patience, because the earth is slow. So having this gives us a language, also recognizes what fortifies, feeds our spirit. For me, is it listening to music? Is it going for a run? That strengthens that bond. And the more that you feed, nurture, attend to your spirit, the more that it blossoms, the more better that you can hear your intuition, the more that you can be aware of these subtle vibrations. And then think about what honors your spirit. When we know our spirit type, what are the decisions that we can make centered in ourselves? For example, as a water spirit, I need time alone, like alone, to rest and recharge. That is something that honors my spirit. Otherwise, I overflow and melt down. That is what honors my spirit. And then think, what expresses your spirit? What is one way that your spirit moves you? For example, it might be something creative like cooking. It might be putting together beautiful outfits. It might be something like reading a bunch of books. As the more that we can honor, express our spirit, the more that it grows, nurtures, and becomes the predominant vibration in our life. So this week, I want you to think about what kind of spirit you have. Take my quiz and then think about what parts of that energy sometimes need to be brought into balance. All right, this is part 2. So for example, if you're a real big earth spirit, if you're somebody that's a rock that does not roll, get really stuck, very grounded, very into safety, securities, you need an adventure. You need to activate some fire. You need to start to bring in the opposite element to help to balance that out. If you're a water spirit, somebody who's really emotional, who has a lot of big feelings, me, we need to bring in our own earth energy to balance that out. Water without boundaries spills everywhere. Think about a cup. But when you hold it, it's like in a cup, earth, that holds the boundaries in the place. So for me, for example, one of the things that I do to help when my spirit is out of balance is go spend time getting rooted into my body, being home, number one, being in nature, being in those things that can hold what my little human parts cannot. If you're a fire spirit, sometimes also of what you might need at the same time is maybe you need to start to verbalize, with some air, start to bring some of that communication. So of how we can think about these different elementals as our spirit type of what do I know about myself to be true? If I'm an earth spirit and a rock that doesn't roll, then I don't need to rush myself. I can be on my perfect timing. If you're a water spirit and super sensitive, that sensitivity is your depth. If you get overwhelmed, if you need time alone, that is your permission, and to have that compassion. Now, if you're an air spirit and you talk out loud and, that same place of having a place of having an awareness of where we can bring in more understanding, or people in our lives, people that we might struggle with. I have a friend who is a bit of a chit-chatter. He's a real air spirit. And when I start to get annoyed and my little water's like, shh, I think, that's just a spirit type. So use this practice first for our own study, and then use it even more fun with the people around you, noticing what you need, what honors it, what feeds it, what expresses it. And notice how as we even just start to use this paradigm of using and reading energy via spirit through life, how that activates your intuition, all sorts of parts, brings in self-compassion, self-understanding. I can't tell you enough how transformative and how fun this work is. So tell me in the comments, what kind of spirit do you have? Come check out my quiz, check out my resources. I absolutely love to hear from you. So if you'd like to work with me, head to my website, soniatully.com. You can book a reading, mentoring, get a past life email card reading, a single tarot card pull reading. I have all sorts of ways that I can support you on your journey. So let me know what kind of spirit type you have. Sending you all my love. Bye.